Hello, everybody, and welcome back to CADS. We are here tonight to discuss a football match. Okay. It was actually a really good game, really fantastic, and I enjoyed it a lot. It was end-to-end, exciting, attacking, some really good performances on display, and fourth place in the league. Fourth place. It's pretty good going, right? I was really, really surprised by the quality on offer. I thought it was a really good game. And frankly, beating Liverpool at any level is good. So let's keep that going. Let's keep that going for the rest of the season. Ash, you're with me tonight. How you doing?
Oh, which Liverpool game was this? Under 21s, under
No,
20s?
no, Tottenham versus Liverpool today at Brisbane Road. Women's Super League.
Oh, today.
Yes, Women's Super League. It was a fantastic match. You didn't watch, I'm guessing.
I didn't, and I didn't watch the second half of yesterday's game because it was pants. It was
The
rubbish.
first half was enough. There was enough punishment for you.
Oh yeah. Plus, I was preparing for more punishment in the evening when the Toronto Blue Jays lost. My Toronto Blue, because all my siblings live in Toronto. Anyway, yes. What can I say? I'm glad they won today and I'm glad I'm speaking with you guys because you guys have just picked me right up after that rubbish performance yesterday.
Yeah, well, I guess we're going to have to talk about that rubbish performance. But before we do that, we're going to welcome A to the show. Hey, A, how you doing?
Oh, I'm as bleak as the Sahara Desert.
Yeah.
I watched the whole game, so
Oh my goodness.
Sucker for punishment. I have a high pain threshold, but even that was pushing it.
You need it.
Kidding.
Absolutely, that kind of game.
Yeah, you need kudos for that. Not kudos.
Kudus. Yeah.
No, you
you
can tell how difficult it was. I couldn't even shave today. I was just like, I can't be asked. It's just too difficult. I'm like, no, I'll put it off. It'll wait a little bit longer. So here I am, scruffy as hell. But we're doing it. We're going to talk about the game.
That game knocked me so far off balance. I've had vertigo for 2 days.
Yeah. No, it was. People complain about results last season and performances. That was worse than anything we saw last season for me. You've got to go a long way back to see a performance that bad from the Tottenham Hotspur side.
Newcastle away.
Newcastle, yeah.
No, even that was better.
I don't know.
This was just insipid. We had. Did you see the XG numbers?
No, it's
our
horrible.
XG was 0.05. 0.05 XG. That is the lowest XG that Tottenham have had since they started recording numbers back in 1993 or something.
I'm surprised it's not the worst ever from any club ever. Like that sure has to be someone.
No. There's got to be someone who was worse. Sunderland, Derby, someone like that's got to be worse.
Same Sunderland that beat Chelsea away.
No, not this Sunderland. Sunderland from like 10 years ago. That Sunderland, or the Derby side who went down with a record low number of points.
Or my second team, Newport County, who are actually 92nd out of 92 teams.
Wow.
I don't know. I reckon Newport County might have given it a bit more of a go than Spurs did yesterday.
Well, they actually won in the FA Cup in penalty kicks yesterday, but in the league, they're actually 92nd of 92 teams.
Somebody has to be. At least, your second team is in the league. Torquay dropped down further and further constantly. So, I like to keep an eye out for Torquay. I lived there for a while, so keep my eyes open.
So, as we're going to get into it, I'm really interested in how did we get to here where professional players who are making a lot of dosh, how can they lack so much pride and more pride? How can they be like that? I heard Mickey van der Ven and Spence tried to sneak off after the game without applauding the fans, and Frank tried to get them back, and they sort of half-hearted waved and then continued on their way.
No, not even that.
No, Ash. Not even that. They barged off. They ignored him completely.
There was no sneaking.
They told him to
they were
bug
just
off.
like, they were heading down the tunnel, and Frank was like, "Hey, boys, wave to the fans," and they were like, "Yeah, didn't hear that," and just continued walking.
So,
And
so
then Thomas Frank, just the look on Thomas Frank's face just looked like a beaten man when that happened.
that's not
And
good.
I think that's probably as bad as anything else we saw from the game yesterday, because I was talking about this today with some people. If you have a manager in a company, right, and that manager insists that something is done in a particular way, right, and they are insistent, this is what you must do, these are the processes you must follow, this is who we are, this is what we do as a team, and then
Mhm.
you've got one or two people who go, nah, not me. What do you do
Yeah.
with those people, right? Do you continue to trust and rely on those people? Or do you go, well, if they're not going to work the way I want, then we're going to have to take some kind of measures. And so, they would be first on that person. If it was a normal employee, they'd be first on the chopping block. They'd be first to be out the door and replaced. But the
Well, I
reality
guess we'll
is,
see in the next game, isn't it? If you got Danzo and Porro and
yeah,
Udogie starting, tells everything.
well, certainly with Spence, it's possible because, Udogie can come in and they can just say, oh, well, he was just giving him a rest. And then behind closed doors, they can say, no, this is the reason why you've got to do these things. And, you don't show such complete and utter disrespect to your manager in public
Well,
like that. But Van der
well,
Ven's much more difficult. Do you play
well,
Danso with Romero at the
well.
Danzo
back?
had a better game than Van de Ven yesterday.
Well, yeah.
Mm.
Hey, Stu, your wife's compatriot may be available. What about him?
Not in the Champions League squad, so he
Oh,
will
that's
not be playing
right.
at all. Yeah,
That's right. That's right.
yeah.
Anyway,
So
it belies the point I made, which I'd love to hear what you guys think. Where the hell is the pride? How do we get professional players on making more money than we'll ever see in our lives? How can they behave like that? Do they not have pride? Do they not care about the badge? Is it become such a what's the word? I don't know what the word is. Mercenary thing that they
hey, do you
don't
want to
care.
take this? Hey, go on, give us your thoughts.
Um, there's definitely a lack of pride, and it hurts to see such a lack of pride. Um, it's absolutely destructive, I would say. And I don't know how you recover from something like this. It's going to take every bit of man management, and I think it's going to take some hard decisions that we may not like, but needs to be done. I think Mickey needs to be punished. And same with Jed. That's not acceptable. We had a tough game. It was a horrible game. Let's not sugarcoat it in any way. But that reaction is unacceptable. I can probably understand. I think Mickey, you would say that he was just disappointed in his own performance and his role in the goal. Both of them had a massive role in the goal.
That's right.
Um,
Yeah.
so you can say that maybe it's that, but the how you react, the next thing you do is always so important. And they let themselves down terribly. They let the fans down, and that's the thing for me. It's like the players are kind of insulated from this. They don't have to go to work the next day. They don't have to see the banter against us every day. They don't feel the same pain. They may say it, but they don't feel the same pain as the everyday match goer that has to fork out so much just to go to the game. And on here we don't, right? We're far away, but the rest of it still remains true. To me, I would have to see them both out of the team next week.
See, for me, if you're talking
Danzo's
about
got to play.
pride, if you're talking about pride, more than two players that were lacking pride in that performance. And yeah, what they did afterwards was probably as bad as anything they did during the game. And it certainly should not
Yeah,
be overlooked. But who had a good game yesterday? Vicario.
Vicario
Beyond
had a
that,
good game.
who
Spence
else
had a
was
decent
good?
game. Spence had a decent game, but Vicario had a good game, and
Yeah.
and Romero when he came on was excellent.
Yeah.
But that was about
Romario when he
it.
came on. But still, I mean, the end of the day, there was very little pride in that performance, let alone anything that happened after the game. But in that performance, you can't,
Mm.
as a fan, you can't look at it and be proud of what we saw. When we lost to Chelsea 4-2, we were down to 9 men, they came off that pitch. They were bloody heroes,
They were
right?
applauded. Yeah.
They were applauded
Mm.
because they went and they gave it a damn good try, and they showed what we wanted to do as a team. When they went to Chelsea this time, honestly, I just don't see what they're trying to do as a team. Were they good
Mm.
defensively? No. Did they win the midfield? No. Were they dangerous up front? Clearly not. 0.05 xG. There was no cohesion.
Stu, when the team came out, I had a different idea. I wasn't too bleak about that team. Um, I thought, okay, he's seen what I've seen. You put Sarr, and you've got the perfect person in Sarr with his energy and his long legs and his to just sit on Caicedo, and
Mm.
you make their best player struggle. You make him work harder. He had the freedom of the pitch, and he was the only difference between those two horrible sides.
He should
Let's
also have
not
been
kid
sent
ourselves.
off.
Yeah,
Caicedo
he
should
should
have
have
been
been
sent
sent
off.
up, but we should have also had sending offs. I don't know how Bentancur stayed on the field, but
Yeah, I
so
thought he was walking.
I'm loath to worry about that. I thought Enzo Fernandez should have been sent off, not Caicedo in my mind. But yeah, the point remains: you've got this one guy. He's really everything to them, and he dictated that game. And if you have an athlete like Starr to harass him, but Ferguson used it with Park Ji-sun at so many times. You neutralize somebody, and you go on there and you niggle on him and you bite at him and you make his life misery, and that whole game would have been different. And that's what I thought it was going to be. I thought, with he would have Sarr on him in the 10 position and make his life misery, and it would have been a little bit better. Then, Bergvall gets injured, and we had another opportunity to change things around because already by then you could see things weren't working. I thought
Yeah.
Richie would have come on the left, and Sarr would have gone again and sat on Caicedo because he was already, um, dominating the game. And I think we would have seen something different. We would have seen something different, and it just didn't happen.
Well,
Just didn't
Well,
happen.
in
just
the
when
go on.
Bergvall went off, just one second, Stu, when Bergvall went off, and you want Richie on, which no problem. Who are you going to put in the midfield there? Or you didn't need another midfielder because we basically had
I would have
four.
put Vichy. I would have put Richie left, and I would have put Sarr on Caicedo.
Which I thought you said that's what he started off like that, was it? Yeah, it was sad that
No,
Bergvall.
I wanted it. I wanted him to start off that way with Bergvall on the pitch, but with him not on the pitch, I thought we could have brought Richie on the left again because we were not beating anybody on the left, and Richie would give them a different channel. He would win things in the air. He would harass. He would buy us time. That their fullbacks had just the easiest game.
Yeah.
So that was my thinking. It was like, okay, we're not doing anything with the ball at our feet. Maybe have somebody like Richie in there to change it up a little bit. That was my thinking. It didn't happen, but and he obviously didn't see it that way. But yeah,
Yeah, the Spencer Tentry seemed a bit more club med than normal, so it wasn't great.
What was
Um,
what was more Club Med, sorry?
the Spencer Tentry,
Oh
Jet
yes,
Jed
penitentiary
Spence.
didn't
Yeah,
happen yesterday for sure.
no, no,
gotcha.
Mm.
it was.
And we're missing one of the obvious because I heard Ali Gold this morning say he's too lightweight and small. And this I know Stu fights me on this, but he is too lightweight and small. And he actually said that of Odobert. He did say, yes, I'd like to see them get adjusted to the Premier League. I've said from the beginning, because I never really knew Xavi. Why has he been at all these big clubs and their academies and whatever, and he's never stuck? he flatters to deceive, perhaps, and he is lightweight and small, no matter what Stu says. And he gets barged, as indeed as Odobert, he gets barged off the ball often. It's
But
not.
so is David Silva. And we'd
Yeah,
all take Prime Silva, David Silva. I don't. I think he had one of the worst games I've ever seen a Spurs player have.
yeah, yeah.
And I'll be honest with that because he couldn't do anything right,
Right.
basics and all that. But I won't give up on him. I do think that there's a lot lacking, but I do think it's going to take time. It's going to take time for these guys, and the only way they're going to get it if they play. I would have had him on, I think, in the last 15 minutes when, the pace has dropped off and he has that extra few minutes. But he looked like when he came on early that he wasn't prepared and he couldn't get up to the speed and it just compounded. So, I think I'm still hopeful over time we'll see the best out of him because he is a talented player. The thing that struck me was the amount of misplaced passes from him. We keep banging on about Bentancur and Paulinho, who were not right for this game anyway, but he made as many backward and sideways passes as they did, and he was supposed to be the one to take us forward. So he didn't have a good game, but I think nobody did, and it's a bit hard to pick on one guy. He was shocking because I think we expect a lot more from him as well. But I think it's a bit unfair so early, and I would say in the last third of the season we're going to be raving about him. I'm
I hope
hopeful.
so.
No,
I
hopeful.
mean,
Yeah.
he's not going anywhere, so he is, he's with our team. Okay, can I ask a question? What is Frank? Because Stu was at the Monaco game and Stu saw this, and I think Stu was really left pretty flat by that game. I could sense it, and Stu is always pretty positive. What is Frank not transcribing, getting across to this group of players? Because something is going amiss. If, for instance, the two players won't even acknowledge what he wants them to do after the game, and they don't seem to be reading what he wants them to do during the game, has something happened there? Is there some communication is it Led Zeppelin communication breakdown between Frank and the players?
So I think Frank is obviously a more pragmatic coach than the previous manager was, right? And that was the big selling point that a lot of people were going on about. He's more pragmatic. He won't be making the same kind of mistakes. He won't be doing this. He won't be doing that. The problem is, won't be is all we've seen. We've seen where he won't be attacking. He won't be committing players to fall, towards the attack. He won't be going for inventiveness. He won't be training players in attacking movement because start of the season we were attacking okay, and I'm starting to think that was just a consequence of having an attacking manager last time round and still having those bits in your head floating around. This is where this guy moves, this is where that guy moves, and suddenly we've got Kudus and we've got Xavi, who are two new players to us. Xavi's brand new to the league. And these are two players who rely on movement from other players and they rely on high energy. So they can pick out players, but our players need to know what they're going to do and they need to know what the players running off them are going to do. And at the moment, it looks like there's a complete disconnect. And although I'm feeling pretty down on Thomas Frank right now, at the same time, you've got to say he's getting maybe 2 days of training a week with these players because we're playing every 3 days, every 3 or 4 days, right? And if you count
Without the
in,
squad.
right, if you count in rest days and you count recovery days, how many days is he actually getting to train these players
One
into
day,
what he wants to
maybe.
do? Maybe one
Yeah.
or 2 days a week, right?
Yep.
And some of that time is obviously being given towards set pieces. Now, Andreas Georgsen says it's 40 minutes a week. Okay, but that's probably half of a morning. So, that's got to take time off as well. So we're doing all of these things that we want to see. We want to see attacking movement. We want to see decent defensive solidity. And we're not getting any of it. Yes, we haven't been tonked yet. And I say yet because
We
We've
could
been
have been
kept in
several
games. We
times.
could have been. We're being kept in games by an inspired goalkeeper.
Yes.
Vicario is as good as we've seen him, and we know he's a very good goalkeeper, but he's as good as we've seen him recently. He's been fantastic. But
Mm.
unless we start dropping out of competitions, right? We're already out of the League Cup.
We already
If
have.
we drop out of the Champions League, if we drop out of the FA Cup, that's the only way we're going to have time to train these players,
Yeah,
right?
nothing's going to change until January, mid to late January when Champions League
Yeah.
first 8 games are over. So nothing's going to change before then.
It could well be, but the problem is if things carry on as they are,
Mm-hmm.
the ownership is going to look and they're going to say, this isn't working. And how long are we going to give this guy? And again, I'm not Thomas Frank out. I think if you stick with him long enough, if you give him the resources he needs and the time to train the players, then he can actually get something fairly good going. I don't know whether he's able to make that step that we need. I think, he can get us into mid-table, right? I think that's. I don't think
And
we're
that's
going to suffer
progress.
from. I think Ange could have got us mid-table last season if he hadn't prioritised the Europa League, but that's by the by. If Thomas Frank says, "I'll get you mid-table," right, but it's going to be this kind of football all the way through, the fans are not going to take it.
They're not.
I think Ange would have relegated us this season.
Sorry?
I think we would have got relegated with Ange this season. I
he'd
tell you
stayed.
why I say that. Yeah, if he stayed, yeah. I think we would got relegated with Ange. I think last year we were only saved because everybody else was so terrible below us, and that's not the case this year. So I think it would have been different. It's hard to tell, obviously, but you would have got Nottingham Forest relegated. I think so. It's difficult to really tell how it's going to be, but I think mid-table. We all want instant success, but I think mid-table is what we're going to get, and we got to then build on mid-table. So, yeah,
Okay, mid-table.
It's a sad.
Mid-table is fine if we're looking like we're actually competitive in games.
Absolutely.
But we're not competitive
more games
now.
like yesterday. We don't know. We did not look competitive at all yesterday. We looked
we're
like
not
there was
competitive.
one side who was trying to win the game and one side who was trying not to get beat. We didn't do anything yesterday.
But we're not competitive yet. As we lose, as we come out of some competitions and he has more time and stuff, I think we'll see an uptick.
Hey, that's not going to happen until at least February. We're gonna have to play the Champions League game and an FA Cup.
I looked at the next 5 games and I can only see one win: Copenhagen.
There you go. There you go. So nothing. What's going to change if in terms of you guys are suggesting? Oh, he needs time to train. Well, nothing's going to change for the next 2 months at all. Nothing is. 3 months.
Does he survive 2 months? Does he survive 2 months of this?
Actually, 2.5 months, because I believe those Champions League games take us to mid-January, and then there'll be an FA Cup game as well in January. So it's going to be ridiculous then.
I think he survives. I think he survives because he's going to do enough horrible stuff and corners and set pieces and stuff to get us enough points to stay out in any trouble. So I think that lets you survive. Yeah, and then obviously we're going to have to see what happens in January. But I think he survives. I don't think it's. I think we're going to see the strength of the new. We'll see what the new leadership is made of now when it comes down to these things, and they can't hide behind Daniel Levy anymore.
You can't blame it on Daniel Levy either.
Yeah,
right.
That's
the other thing.
Like yesterday, they can't be shouting Levy out because he's got.
I still heard people blaming Daniel Levy. This is the situation he's left us in by underfunding the squad, and
he has.
We've spent a lot of money on players. We're something like the 4th biggest spenders in the league.
Yeah, we're not getting
in wages, but in terms of money outlay, we're something like the 4th biggest spenders in the league.
We're not getting it right then.
No,
we're not.
Really not.
That's why I said you're going to see where the metal of this what this new group is made of, if you like, the leadership group.
Point.
Notice how quiet it's been now. All of a sudden, once we've had the questions about Frank, they haven't been so communicative anymore, isn't it? We haven't heard from them in about a little bit, whereas you would hear from them all the time previously.
But sometimes it's better to say nothing at all. If you go and you say, "Oh yeah, he's got our full confidence" and stuff, that becomes the dreaded vote of confidence. For oh, he got the vote of confidence, he'll be out in a week. People
Yeah,
are
I think what
so
we're hoping
blasé
for
about it
is
now.
like we know the squad's short. We sold the manager a bit short, and we'll be active in January. That would be cool. But then you also give away your hand a bit in transfers. So
Yeah,
you're right. You understand. You understand
Oh,
why they haven't said anything. But it has
and
been quieter than it's been.
we
yeah,
genuinely can't change that much in January either. I mean, we'll
yeah.
probably see players coming back. We've got Deki, we've got Solanke, we've got who
Who?
else am I think?
Does he still play for us?
Yeah,
Hey,
exactly.
he's in the he's in the thumbnail today. I picked him because like, don't if anybody's actually looked at the thumbnail and is upset that I've picked out Solanke, despite the fact he didn't play and hasn't played all season. Reason I've selected him is because on the Spurs official calendar, he is the guy who's there for November. That's the only reason. The only reason. Okay, so
Oh, I thought
put me
you were
down.
gonna say he's the guy who came up with the most credit from the game.
Well, it's one of those things.
That
It's like
too.
the Jermaine Genius effect, right? When Jermaine Genius was injured and out for so long, many, many years ago, he got better as a player because people thought that's what we're missing. And I think there's people thinking that Solanke coming back will suddenly change so many things. And I think he's gone up as level in their minds as to the kind of player he is. I don't think he's going to make that much of a difference in comparison to someone like Muani or even Richarlison. Richarlison, by the way, is our second worst points per game player this season. Do you know who
That
the
mean?
worst is?
No, what does that mean? What do you mean points per? What is
So
that?
if you were to assign 3 points to every game, right? And you were to work out every player that started and you were giving them 3 points for a win and 1 point for a draw, 0 for a loss, right? And you counted up the number of points they had across the season so far, and you divided that by the number of games they played, you get their points per game total.
When they say
Right?
tell,
No. Richarlison has the second worst. The worst is Danso. Danso has the worst points per game for anyone in our team. And he was the
This
worst last season as well.
is this the guys who start? Is this for starting
This is for
games?
starters, yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
I don't know.
wow.
Those numbers sort of blow my brain. I don't know what the fuck is going on. I can just tell. It was painful, it was horrible, and all those XGs and whatever. I didn't see any chances. I don't need anybody to tell me what the XG was. I didn't see anything,
There wasn't
So,
any.
yeah.
We created almost nothing. I mean, there was one chance which it was a long throw, and it came to Bentancur, who couldn't
Yes.
sort his feet out in time to actually take a shot.
Can you
That's
imagine?
probably our best chance of the match.
We
So,
had some half moments and then made very wrong decisions. Yeah, that was
Okay.
about it.
All right. I'm going to ask you two wise gentlemen, since nothing's going to happen for 2.5 months, in terms of training and getting more training in, what can we do with what we have, considering we don't have all that we can have? What can we
Well,
do right at this particular point? How can we change something? How can we inspire them? How can we get their mojo going? How do we do it?
the first thing is we've got to show intent of winning. Second thing is we've got to lose a double pivot.
yeah.
The balance is not right. Yeah, I think the double pivot doesn't help us. It's not those players' faults that they've been asked to do that. Both of them are being selected, but I don't think at home that you should be using a double pivot. I think that's maybe an away thing where you're gonna try and, get a point and make it difficult. That's fine. But I think you've got to lose the double pivot and you've got to get some more passing into the team or more creativity into the team.
Yeah, where do you get that
Um,
from? Where do you get that from?
Now, I mean, like a Bergvall instead of a Paulinho or a Bentancur gives you that immediately, but they
Yes,
don't start that often, right?
right.
It's the same.
Bergvall
We
can't start the next two games.
What's
he
that?
can't
Option.
start. Yeah,
Yeah, so
Bergvall can't start the next game.
and Gray is out because he's a possibility. So we
Yeah.
really do you add creativity. We so the next two games we have nobody to add it in. If okay, no,
I think
I
you
think
play
you're right. The double pivot.
you play. Yeah, but
Go
I
ahead.
think then you play two strikers, eh? And you play the long ball and you knock it down and you try and win the ball upfield so that you don't really have to keep playing these things at the back all the time. You can start moving the ball away from your own net and start playing with a little bit more freedom. I think Odobert has to play. I'll be honest with you. I think Odobert has to play. If he's fit, he needs to play. He looks lively. He looks like something can happen when he's given a chance. And having two strikers up there, maybe somebody knocks it down for him, and they create some interplay. We gotta use what we have.
Well,
If this is
okay.
what we stuck in,
Yeah,
and I would go with two up front,
yeah. Who are the
and
two?
I would.
Who are the two?
Uh,
And how do you fit all those four? We're talking about four guys there. How do you fit that front four? If Odobert is on the left, Kudus on the right, and then who are the other two?
it would be for me. It would be Paulinho and Sarr.
No. I'm talking about the front four,
Up
eh?
front.
Oh, up front, it'll be Muani and whoever else is available, Richie and Muani, or
Okay,
Muani
so
and Tel, or
that
whoever.
means that means we play without a number 10 then.
Yeah, but that's where we are right now.
Well, I'm just asking. No, I'm not saying that's
Mm.
wrong. I'm just asking.
I think that's where we are, and then you bring Xavi on later for one of them, and you give him a free role. You don't give him the trouble of going back and all of that. Play him off the striker.
Okay.
Say to him, you've got no defensive duty except to harry the number 6 when he's in possession. The rest of the time, go create stuff, create relationships up front.
I
Uh,
kind of love what we were attempting to do with Tel, Odobert, and Kudus. There was a lot of speed, and we actually looked good for one game. I think against Leeds, we kind of looked good there.
It was Leeds, though.
It was Leeds. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't know if we have it. Like you said, Gray is out for a bit. Bergvall is definitely out for 2 games.
Yeah.
No, that's a really good point. I don't know what Stu thinks, that double pivot, because he seems rigid on that situation. What do you think, Stu?
I'd go slightly different to A. I would say to the players, we're going to play on the front foot. We're going to play attacking football. I want to see some progression down the wings, not by pumping it at Odobert or pumping it at Kudus. I actually want to see us get the ball and pass it into space so that you can attack it. I would be playing 5 in midfield, including with those 2 wide guys. I'd have Kolo Muani up front and asking him to drop back a little bit and integrate into the side and get things going from the start. And I would be saying, right, Xavi, this is your chance to show what you can do. Right, I want you to find pockets of space, and I want you to move the ball on quickly when you get it. Okay, and I want you to be the captain up front. I want you to be the guy who pushes people around and tells them where they should be going, and you've got to take that and make that your area. And I think we need balance around him. And by balance, you do not play the double pivot of Paulinho and Bentancur behind him, because I don't know if you saw Adam Cleary's video recently, but he showed just there's a gap between our defensive midfield line and our attacking line, and every single midfielder of the opposition is in that area because they're just picking the ball off. Right, we need to get him some support. Now,
Okay, so
obviously, that would be Bergvall, but he's obviously out for the next 2 games.
right.
So it becomes a mentality thing. Bentancur can push further forward. Bentancur's got that ability, and he needs to be given a little bit more license, and he needs to be told it's okay if you make a mistake, but make something happen. Right?
Don't
We're
pass
playing
backwards.
scared. We're playing
I
scared. And
That's
hang
a
on
I
good
one
thought
point.
second, one
that
second, one
still.
second, 1 second, Dave, 1 second.
Point.
Start of the season, right? Frank was asked about what's your mentality
Be
for
brave.
taking risks,
Be brave.
right? And he said, be brave. Failing to take a risk is taking a risk. and we're
Right.
not taking any damn risks.
Good
We're
point.
so staid, we're so cautious, but it's
Good
killing
point.
us. It's absolutely killing us. So you got to say to the players, you're going to go out there and you're going to attack, and you're going to play on the front foot, and you're going to make them work for it. The best movement we've probably had in this last 5 games was that Everton game where we were playing Xavi and Kudus, and they were just moving around and shifting around. You've got to set the pieces right, and you've got to give the opportunity for the players to go out and express themselves in a way where they feel a little bit freed. Right now, I think they've been micromanaged to death. They're just not getting it. It's just not working. You've got to say, go out there, lads, rip them apart.
Micromanaged to death. You're right.
Yeah, I'm not against that. I just think at the moment that takes some coaching time to get right, and we don't really have that at the moment. And that's why I thought maybe somebody up front and winning things further upfield gets us upfield better, and then we can play. And that's exactly when I said I would like Xavi to come on and have a lot more freedom as the second striker, if you like, or behind the striker. That's what I'd want for him, but I wouldn't want to. I don't think we have the people to progress the ball at the moment to do what you want them to do. So I think it's for me that was why I didn't think that's why it wasn't my first option to do that.
Yes,
I think
Stu,
we do everything too slowly right now. Everything is too slow.
So Stu, you feel when Bergvall is back, Bergvall and Bentancur, if they're allowed, if they're unleashed, can provide what A just said, can provide that forward sort of movement. They can, if allowed to.
They're
Bentancur
both
or
not
Polina?
passes though.
What's
They're
that?
not
Bentancur
passes
or
though.
Polina? I think
I
if you get a
I
player
think
closer to Xavi and you give him options, you give him movement. And our movement is awful. Our movement is
Mm.
straight lines. You watch
And
our games. Our
that's why
players
we
don't
keep
curve the
going.
runs. They don't angle. It's just
Yeah.
straight lines. And that's why it's
And
so
that's why
easy
we
to
keep
pick off.
going back and side, because those
Yeah.
things are too easy to block. There's nothing available for the person on the ball. So it's a lot. It's easy to say, oh, we go back and sideways and blame the person on the ball. He has no options. The person on the ball
We're not
has
even
no
seeing ball
options.
passes. Like
Yeah.
one of the easiest things you can do when playing up against a packed defense is a wall pass. Knock the ball
Yeah, the
into him,
bounce,
pass it back to him.
bounce back.
The bounce
Mm.
pass. Like you do that, some space opens up. We're not even doing that. Like all we do is we pump it towards the right wing, and we hope that Xavi can, not Xavi, Kudus can do something.
Kudus.
And
And
he's
he's looking
outmanned
tired.
because they
He's
know
looking
exactly
tired.
what should be
who's
happening.
looking
They know
tired?
exactly what we're doing.
Who's looking tired?
Kudus.
Kudus.
Okay.
So Kudus played something like an average of 66 minutes a game last season. We were asking him to do 75 to 80. So we're overplaying him already. And the reality is, when we played Brennan Johnson with Kudus against Everton, we looked so much better. Brennan Johnson came in and did really well.
In that odd
I thought so as well.
in that odd shape that we had there, right? With
Yeah,
no
but it was something different. It
Again,
was something
it was
unusual.
different.
It surprised the opposition. They didn't know what was coming.
And the other thing is, it's like Everton's a mid-table team, and we did okay against a mid-table team. It's like we struggle against any team that has some technical ability on the ball, or with a half a striker or a good midfielder. It just takes one of those things, and we stuffed.
Well,
Yeah.
that's what happened against Bodo and Monaco, because we should have been stuffed in both those games, quite frankly. You know,
But both Berda and Monaco attacked with 4 or 5 players. We
right?
attacked with 3.
And those teams wouldn't be a top 6 team in the Premier League, and yet they were looking pretty good against us.
Yeah.
No, they'd be bottom 6, both of them.
There you go.
I mean, we
if you take
lost
away
to
Buddha's
Caicedo
advantage.
yesterday.
Sorry?
Do you know that? We lost to one man yesterday. We lost to Caicedo. You put Caicedo in our team, we win that game.
Well, he's not, so that's pipe dream. We have to deal with
Yeah,
what
I
we
know.
have.
You can't, right? But I mean, that was the difference. It was one player. Chelsea were not great. Chelsea were not great. That's what's scary. It's like they were shit and they still beat us.
Yeah, they weren't great. Right.
The concern, I guess, is where do you put the money in next? I mean, the the obvious quick fix, right, is to go and buy someone. But we really still need that dominant midfielder. Palhinha
Hey,
is
how about our left
Pali-
wing back? What's he like?
Spence. No,
Oh,
it's
L
Brennan Johnson was the left back, wasn't it?
oh, the LWB guy.
Oh, LW, but he's way too young, and also he's away on England
What?
under 17 duty,
What?
so we won't be seeing him till December.
Dodgy Best was playing at 16. Rooney was playing at 16. Those guys were
Yeah,
making impact in the first division at that age. I think that's a crime to say, well, don't we have any talent in the ranks? Come on. Well, or
they're currently all away at under 17 duty, so we're not going to see them till December.
yeah. So
So yeah,
let's bring some back in January. Let's just
okay,
keep.
but again, it there are no players. You know, Luca Williams-Barnett is a fantastic player, but Luca Williams-Barnett is an attacking midfielder where we
Yeah, well,
have.
isn't Donnelly like that? You spoke about him 2 years ago.
Yeah, Donley was a forward or left-sided
Right,
midfielder.
right. So that's all.
Donley's struggling to get minutes for Stoke right now, so
Yeah, yeah. But
we're
why didn't we keep him with us? There's just so many things that when I see one English player on the whole team and going, well, what's the academy there for? We're not using any of them for the last 5, 6, 7, 10 years, except for Harry Kane. Anyway.
Oliver Skip, Harry Winks. They've both got reasonable number of minutes.
Hey, there
Yeah.
for PSR.
Yeah, true.
No, you could be right. No.
Future Tottenham captain Oliver Skip, you're talking about there.
Yeah, Captain Oliver Skip, exactly. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we've had players come through which you hoped would be good enough. Dane Scarlett, maybe still a chance. I don't personally see it at the moment. I don't see him going anywhere because he's so useful to us as a club trained person. But there's a heap of players who are coming through, but they're in positions where we are reasonably strong. But we don't have. Wow, Tyler Thompson maybe could do the left wing, but he's so young and so raw. It's a lot to ask. But
My thing with you, Stu, is like for the last several years, and I mean this all with good intention, is that I don't see these players, you do, and
yeah,
you speak highly of them, and I go, Stu's a good observer of talent, so yeah, I believe you. But Stu, nothing happens. They get to a point.
because they're all still so young. You're talking about players who 21 max, and most players don't come through to 23, 24 nowadays.
Listen,
Most academy players do not break through until they're 23, 24. That's about the
listen,
average age
I
now.
think I think that's an excuse. There was a guy in this World Series. He could still be in college, and he had a record 14, 12, 13 strikeouts. 22 years old. The kid started in. What's the bottom of our academy? What would be the bottom? Because that's what he did at the beginning of the season. He was in like single A, and he ended up playing in the World Series within one season. And the
Was
guy,
this the pitcher?
yes,
The
yes,
pitcher?
Savage.
Right. So yeah. Right. So baseball is a
No, no.
relatively simple game. Baseball's a relatively simple game, right?
I would,
Tactics.
you know what? Baseball experts would say, "Oh, this guy doesn't know anything." It's not a simple game. It's a very
It's
complex
it's
game.
in. I would say that football is significantly more complex.
I wouldn't. You know what? I disagree with you there. Very
Okay.
much.
Okay.
And you don't even watch baseball. So what are you saying?
I watch a little bit of baseball. I watch a little bit of most sports,
You
but
don't even watch games. I watch games. I saw.
okay,
No,
right. Anybody watching now, put it down in the comments below whether you think that the complexity, the overall complexity of somebody, the all-roundedness of a player in a football match needs to be higher than someone who has a specialist position like pitcher
yeah.
in baseball.
Ash,
And
can I ask you a question?
sorry.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
This player, does he have any other role except pitching?
No, he doesn't. Not like Otani, who's actually an all-rounder.
And what I'm trying to say is like if you had an academy player who was really good at defending, and all he had to do was defend, and he didn't have to pass, and he didn't have to get the ball forward.
Yeah, that's you know what's
It would be
hey,
different.
that's apples and oranges because they have
Yeah, yeah.
specific. Yeah,
Yeah,
apples
but
and oranges.
that's exactly what I'm coming to. It's apples and oranges.
Yeah.
Apples. Right. Yeah. So don't
Mm.
say, don't, Stu. It's apples and oranges. Don't say that the football players are more skillful than baseball players. There's this Japanese guy who I did.
It's not me saying it's not. I happen to agree with it, but I'm not the one saying it. There are plenty of sports commentators out there who say that football, as in like the one with the round ball, is the most complex sport to learn how to play to a professional and high level because there are so many things you have to be good at, right? You can't concentrate in just one thing. You can't just be good at hitting a ball. You can't just
Well,
be good at stealing bases. You can't just be good at,
Stu,
pitching.
You can't get it wrong. You're still getting it wrong because those guys, just like in cricket, they not only do they have to bat, but they have to
Mhm.
field, and then they have to steal bases, and they have to bunt and progress people. They don't even do that in cricket. You sacrifice yourself. They don't have that in cricket. Sacrifices where you know you're going to get out, but you're advancing the player. It's a very complex game. I'm not saying I like it better than football, you know, but I do, and I don't even watch it unless the Toronto Blue Jays are in, so I don't really care. But I watched a lot of the World Series. This one Japanese guy, he had something like 7 different pitches, and I'm going, and they're showing them all. Because great camera work and the spin and whatever, blah blah blah. I bet you Xavi only has one shot.
No, absolutely does not. Anyway, let's turn it back on to you, Ash. What would you do to turn this around?
You know what? You guys came up with great comments. I'll be honest. I don't know. Really. No, I mean I really don't
And you
know.
know what? That's
I don't know.
probably
I'll say
the
one
best
thing.
and the most honest answer we've had because we can all have our opinions. We can all say, right, what we think should happen. But the reality
Yeah,
is none of us know exactly what's going on in that football club.
right. Yeah, and that's one thing I've learned as a journalist is that I am no fucking expert, and everyone thinks
Yeah.
they're experts. The reason I love being a journalist because I could go to those pros and say, so what's going on here? What's going on with the Xavi? What's going on with these guys? Why is it not translating? I would ask the players or the managers or the owners or the pundits, and I'd ask them, what is it? And I don't know, quite frankly.
Yeah.
Only one thing, attitude. Start off with a better attitude, professionalism, what you guys said about, but I didn't watch it, pride um, after the game. So I would start off with attitude and pride, and then anything else, I don't know.
Okay, so before we actually started this call, I had a chat with David. Now, David's not actually been able to make it to this week's episode, but he wanted to get his thoughts across. So, for those of you who are watching, we can't do you two guys can't see it, but for those of you who are watching, this is what David had to say about the game.
Things are pretty bad, actually, to be honest. I think I'm on record as saying that I'm massively Frank in and fully believe in Thomas Frank, but things have got to improve. And at the moment, they seem to be going backwards because yesterday, the only thing that's really been working well for us was set pieces. And yesterday, we were really bad. The set pieces were, frankly, like free kicks. I mean, that free kick where was it Kudus played? No, Porro played it to Kudus, who played it back to Porro, who played it back to Kudus, and then we ended up going back to the goalkeeper because all our players were offside anytime either of them got the ball. I mean, not one single free kick that was free kick or corner that was any good, and I just want to talk about long throws again. Okay, we knew he scored from a long throw if Bentancur got his feet like in position in time. He could have got a goal. But I mean, we're 10 matches in now. Is that right? We played 10 matches. How many
10
goals?
league matches.
How many goals have we scored from these long throws?
None.
None. Right. I mean, I said it in the summer, and what I said when I was talking about it in the summer was, when we get to winter and it's raining, and we spend 5 bloody minutes, drying the ball to take one of these, people are not going to, I don't like it anyway, But when it starts holding the match for 5 minutes, it's just, well, at least it's 5 minutes less we're having to watch Tottenham being shit. But, you know, I really hate the long throws, and just the set pieces were really, and that's, so I'm kind of, I don't think I've got very long here, and I don't know what you're going to do with what I'm saying, but I'm not going to go on about the general performance. There were two things that were really worrying beyond that. One is that the only thing we're good at, we got worse at, set pieces. And the second thing is Spence and Van de Ven blanking Frank and walking straight off down the tunnel. I mean, I understand that sort of stuff, but that makes me think there's some air in the gas pipes, right?
Yeah.
That's not a good look. Yeah. So those are my. I mean, in some respects, what I'm thinking is we're playing a match every 3 days, and we are seriously short of quality. And I don't think that's down to Frank. I expect Frank to get better out of this, out of what he's got available to him. I think it's difficult when you've got a match every 3 days. And frankly, some of our purchase over the last few years are simply not looking good enough. Really. I think, and some of them might come good, but I'm still waiting for it. So I'm thinking about Odobert, I'm thinking about Tell, and I'm thinking about, especially about Xavi, you know. And I don't know how much you can hope to create free floating. He keeps saying free floating. I think he means to say free flowing. How, if Thomas Frank can really do free flowing football with so many quality problems further up the pitch. He's got Kudus, and Kudus is getting run into the ground. And teams have figured out, if you shut down Kudus, you shut down Tottenham. And yeah, that's what's happening. They're putting 3 people on Kudus last night some of the time. Every time we came out to him, he's got 3 people around him. You know, and, you know, whether we can still keep buying 50 million, 60 million euro, pound strikers, I don't think 50 or 60 million gets you an awful lot of striker these days. You know, that's the simple truth. If you want to spend the money, it sounds like a lot of money, but when I'm looking at what we're getting, I'm thinking maybe it's not that much money. Muani, you know, there's a lot of stuff where we've still got some questions open. Odobert, Tell is still young. I love Tell's attitude. I mean, he seems just to have an amazing personality. Odobert shows little flashes. But I just feel like the recruitment is still really lacking. Maybe Paratici coming back will help us with that. I don't know. But so much opportunism and like, it feels like it's been 2 years of jam tomorrow with Tottenham. We had 2 years of jam tomorrow, people telling me that Ange would come good if we just waited. And he, you know, okay, he got us a trophy, but not playing Ange ball, you know, not in any way playing Ange ball. He never came good. And I stopped believing in jam tomorrow with Ange after the Arsenal match. I'm very hesitant to say jam tomorrow with Thomas Frank, or raise the number of injuries as an excuse, as happened with Ange. He's got to do better with what he's got available. But I think what he's got available is not all that good, to be honest.
Okay, so that's David's thoughts. Strong as they were. Ash is laughing because that was like 5 seconds ago. But yeah. Right. Okay. So Copenhagen coming up. Are we expecting something out of the box from Thomas Frank from this one? Are we expecting a better performance, or are we starting to feel that this might be what we end up having to live with for a considerable period of time? What are your thoughts?
Go away.
I don't know. I don't know. How do we come back from this? This is so debilitating. How do you come back to this? I think it's going to tell us a lot. But to say that we know how we're going to change it, I don't know. It's a different opposition. they're going to be really up for it.
So
Our stadium looks really awesome for everybody to play in except us. It's a tough place to go to for us, isn't it? Our home ground.
it is.
Yeah. I think there'll be a bit of rotation. There has to be. I think a lot of guys. I think some players will be given the opportunity to put things right, and some people will be replaced because we've got people that need to play. Yeah, I hope to see Mickey left out of the squad completely. I hope to see Ven Spence left out of the squad completely, and this is not related to their ability. This is related to what I saw after the game. So for me, I would like to see that from Frank. I'd like to see him leave these two guys out completely. In fact, I would leave them out as long as we can afford to leave them out in terms of injuries. I'd leave them out for 3-4 games, make them earn their way back in. I'd hope there's apologies in the background. And I would like to show them it doesn't matter how good you are. You'll sit on the bench with the World Cup year coming on if you don't get your attitude right. And I think that sends a message. I'm not your buddy. I'm your coach, and you will respect me. And I think that's something that needs to be done for the good of the club. That tone needs to be said. This is, you play for Tottenham Hotspur, not for yourself. You play for those fans. And you get paid to train, so you can still train pretty hard during the week. So that's what I would like to see first and foremost. I think I would also like to see, after saying what I did, Romero would have to start, and the same with Vic. They are our best players. Dancer would have to play.
Relying on Romero, Dancer, and Udogie being able to play every game for the next period of time in a busy period.
It's going to be tough. I play academy players ahead of them, and I would sacrifice some points to get this right. I really don't care if we those guys struggle and we lose a few games. I think this club needed a reset, and you're not going to reset it by not getting the attitude right. It's a lot of pain, but we have to take the pain at some point, and that's what I would do. I would leave them out. Up front, I would play Brennan Johnson and Odobert, and I'd play Muani again because I think he needs time. And since it's Copenhagen, I would play Xavi. I think he'd have a little bit more space, a little bit more time than he would in the Premier League, and that might be the trinket for him. It might also help build his confidence if he has a good game against him. Other than that, around that, not sure. Maybe go with Bentancur and Sarr in the middle.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Well,
that would be my choice.
You actually said the thing I just said a couple of minutes ago when Stu asked me what would I do. I said I don't know, except for change the attitude. So it's interesting that you actually said the same thing. That's a pretty bold move about dropping them for several games. But I don't know if that's gonna work. But that attitude thing is definitely. And you know what? It could well be that Frank has to assert himself, and they may need. I was going to say earlier, hey, maybe they need a sin bin type thing, which is what this is essentially, a sin bin type situation.
He's got a no dickheads policy. That was dick moves. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
it was a dick move. You disrespected the fans. That freaking had to sit through that pile of crap. Yeah. So that's it.
I'd love. By the way, if you either one of you's got a clip of that, I'd love to see that. I didn't see it. I didn't stick around.
It's all over Twitter. But yeah.
If you ask me before Stu, what you're going to say, I don't know what to do. To be frank, some of those ideas that A had were pretty good, and some of the ideas you're going to have I'm sure are pretty good. Me, I don't know. I really don't know. And it could be awful. It's at home, right? It could be awful again,
I think the Copenhagen game could be the only game we win this month.
Wow.
Me too.
Which is scary. I mean, Manchester United and Fulham should be games where we should be competitive. But
You know, United
yeah,
looking really good, looking
United
really
are
good.
actually looking in form, and we always struggle against Fulham. So
But United look like they've turned the corner. They've
Well,
stuck with Amarim and they've turned the corner.
we only drew 2-2 against Forest, who at the bottom, so that's not so great. And we beat them,
Yeah.
Forest are in a false position though. Forest aren't that bad.
and
Forest
and we
should be
Yeah.
doing better.
and we beat United 4 times last year. So anyway, I'm not saying
Yeah.
I'm not saying we won't get beaten by
Mhm.
them.
Their last 4 games is 3 wins and a draw.
Yeah.
And in there, you've got
Still hate
Liverpool in there.
I still hate them.
Me too. No, we all do. But it's like, I don't see us beating United. I think they have a lot of firepower and they have some good midfielders.
Well, that's too far ahead. But I think you could be
Mm.
right, Copenhagen, and I just met let's hope for a blinder by Vicario, and I don't know.
I think we could
I
get
think-
tonked by Arsenal, eh? I think we could lose 3 or
yeah.
4.
Oh, and PSG is going to be painful.
Very
PSG
difficult
is going
game.
to be very painful. I mean, I'm expecting to be at that match, so it could be a very difficult evening for me.
Is that
What would I do against Copenhagen? I'm like I would be making sure that Van der Ven and Spence are nowhere near the team.
you agree?
We
You
have
agree?
we have a significant injury record right now, which makes things much more difficult. We also have our best young players away at under 17 duty. So those players who we'd expect to come in, but you know, Malachi Hardy could come and sit on the bench instead of Van der Ven. We've got Destiny Udogie who can play down the left. He'd certainly be starting for me.
Byfield?
It's Byfield's away under 17 duty. So yeah, tough.
Yeah.
Really difficult right now. And you know, we gave the previous manager, I'm going to continue to say the previous manager because it hurts me every time I have to say his name. But we gave the previous manager an awful lot of chances because of the injuries he had, right?
Yeah.
And Thomas Frank is dealing with the same numbers of injuries right now. And we're also talking influential players. Maddison, Solanke, Kulu, all of those players. Deki, sorry. Not supposed to call him Kulu. He doesn't like it. Deki, Kulusevski. You know,
And
those
also
are players who
Bergvall.
are influential. And we're
And
missing
also
them.
Bergvall for 2 games because he's got a concussion. So
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. But
can
we'll
I
see how it
ask?
goes.
I didn't look at the schedule before the new international break. What do we have before that? What's the games coming up? Copenhagen, United, what then?
Then Arsenal.
That's
PSG,
before,
Arsenal,
and that's-
Newcastle.
Yeah.
Oh,
No,
sorry?
I think it's Arsenal, PSG, Newcastle.
are they before the international break?
Let's have a look. I will get it up now for you. I can give you the numbers straight away.
Right.
But it's a tough old fixture list right now.
Good.
Oh, dear me. Oh, yeah, it's going to be a tough month, honestly. Right, we've got Copenhagen. Then we've got Manchester United on the 8th. Then we've got Arsenal. Then we've got a break. The international break is between Manchester United and Arsenal. Okay. And then you've
the
got
break is next. So we've only got 2 more games before
2
the
games
break.
and a break. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, Copenhagen, Manchester United, both of those are at home. Arsenal away, Paris Saint-Germain away, and we've got Fulham on the 29th, which is our last game of the month, and we're at home for that one. Fulham
I'm dreading the home games.
Yeah.
we really shouldn't. Those should be the ones where we should be trying to do our best and you know trying to make that fortress that Frank talks about. But it's not happening, is it?
Didn't we did
No.
that last season in White Hart Lane? We were undefeated, right?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No, the
We're
last
in
season at
the-
White Hart Lane. The last
We
season
were-
at
White Hart Lane,
we were.
yeah. White Hart Lane, yeah.
Yeah.
Hart Lane. Undefeated. I think we had the best defense in the league as well.
The Toby Alderweireld and Jan Vertonghen days, yeah.
Mm.
We've got
We're the best defenders in the league.
We've got 2 very good defenders now. If
We
you
do?
put together, if you've got Cristian Romero and Mickey van der Ven starting, you've got a damn fine chance of winning that game. But the fact is, Cuti's been out for last 3 games, and yeah, it's not quite so easy when you're playing with second fiddle, as we've seen, because our second fiddle doesn't seem to be quite up to the same level. But who's up to the same level as Cristian Romero?
Yeah. The thing is also like Coochie on his own with somebody else is still is better than Van de Ven with somebody else. Van de Ven.
Mm.
It's quite apparent that Mickey is.
Hey, you are really down on Van de Ven.
No, it's just I've seen he's younger and he has time. You know, he's still got time, but he's not there yet. But you do see it like, and I
He's
think
our top
it's
goal scorer.
yeah, he is our top goal scorer. Yeah, but I do see it. I see Coochie improving the other defenders around him, and obviously he's you know, now that we don't depend on VDV's pace so much in the system, we still depend on Romero's passing from the back, and I think that shows up, and that's why I'm saying that. I'm not overly down. I'm down on his behavior, and his mentality was poor for me. Yeah, that showed a lack of mentality for me. That's what I'm down. That you cannot tolerate because no one's bigger than the club. And I wonder if all the sort of speculation around Madrid looking at him and blah 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 is starting to get to him. Yeah, it's starting to get, make him a little bit pig-headed. Yeah, believing the hype.
He's still an excellent player, though. He's still an
He
excellent
is.
player who.
Would you also drop those two players for the Copenhagen game?
Definitely for the Copenhagen game. Manchester United would be more difficult because you're asking players who, certainly Udogie. Udogie's just come back from injury himself. You're asking him to play two high-profile games in a row. Because, yeah, Copenhagen may not be the best team, but a Champions League game is a high-profile game. So two high-profile games in a row, you follow that up with, okay, there's a break from then. So, you know, you got
I think
break
that's
until the 23rd of November.
I think that's a little bit of an escape for Frank as well. He'll be dropped them for that game, probably wasn't going to play them anyway and say, this is why we dropped them. You know, knowing full well that they come back for the United game.
But if we lose Copenhagen, if we lose Manchester United, you go into that international break. And the international break is when when managers get sacked. So there will be a lot of speculation going into that. The problem is I can't see who could come in. I've got my dream candidate in mind, but you know, that's not going to happen.
Who's your dream?
Glasner.
Bring back Ange. Bring back Ange. He can come back.
Ange is always welcome back at the stadium for winning the trophy. I never ever want to see him manage us again.
He never will. He never will. He wouldn't come back. The man's got some pride. The man's got some self-respect. He would never come back.
Yeah, I think so. And I think it's a good for all parties, to be honest with you. But it just didn't fit.
Levy's gone.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether Levy's gone.
They probably didn't like each other.
I've got my hot take, right? We've been talking about hot takes on social media. My hot take is the decision to get rid of Ange was not Levy's. The decision to get rid of Ange was the people above him. It was Vinay Venkatesham, it was the Lewises, and they looked at it and said, 17th is not good enough, regardless of whether or not it got us into Champions League. That's my feeling. I think if it had just been down to Daniel Levy, he'd still be in charge. He'd have had that third season. But I think because of everything else that happened, and because clearly the board was taking more of an interest and more of a fingerprint on things, that's why he went.
I think you're right. I think you've got a point. I do think that it's a good decision. I forever be grateful for him. I loved his mentality. I just didn't rate him as a coach, and but his mentality is like wonderful. And whether Frank is the right guy or not, I think that was a different decision to whether Ange needed to be sacked or had to go.
And that's what we were promised.
I thought I think he would have got us into relegation this year.
I disagree, but again, going back to Ash's thing, we don't know. We'll never know.
Yeah.
It's all conjecture and speculation. We'll never know. Yeah. Anyway, let's call it a night. It's been a long one. I've got some editing to do. Yeah, it's going to be a long old night. But gents, thank you very much for joining us. We will be back after that Manchester United game. So we'll be back on the 9th of November, Sunday the 9th of November. And you'll be able to hear our lovely voices on the following Monday. So thank you everybody for joining us. Please like, subscribe, all of that nonsense. And we'll be back soon, hopefully with some positive results to talk about. Fingers crossed. Come on, you Spurs. Have a good night.
Cheers.
Pundits just chuckle, ignore them alas. The CADS chat shit. To the left and the right, we're taking a hit, so you know it's true. Hear the banter ignite. Raise your voice loud, shout it out tonight. The CADS chat shit. We'll sing it again with a smile and a grin. Oh, here's to the boys, let's make it a trend. With a wink and a nudge, let the fun never end. Last week we claimed it'll be 5-0 for sure. Now we're debating if we'll score at the door. Did you see that last miss? What a fiery debate. As we pull up our chairs and we narrow our fates. Hot takes flying high, we're the kings of the pub. While the lads on the pitch just need a good rub. From the top of the table right back to the ground, you'll hear us all chatting that familiar sound. The CADS chat shit. To the left and the right, we're taking a hit, so you know it's true. Hear the banter ignite. Raise your voice loud, shout it out tonight. The CADS chat shit, we'll sing it again with a smile and a grin. Oh, here's to the boys, let's make it a trend. With a wink and a nudge, let the fun never end.